Hello, fellow leggers. It is award season.
It absolutely is. We have just had the nominations for the 2019 Olivier Awards, sponsored by MasterCard. Them, not us.
Not us.
Revealed, and we can't wait to talk to you about our predictions.
Who's going to win?
Who's going to lose?
And also some near misses who didn't quite make the cut.
Yeah, and who's been completely overlooked. There's a lot of controversy around this one, so stick with us. Come and join us. Let's have a chat. Roll title.
It's pretty much the West End highlight of the year. We've just had the What's on Stage Awards, which is nominated by the public. Is that right?
Voted for.
Voted for by the public.
Winners nominated by them right from the get-go. This one's a little bit more industry. Voted by a panel of people, some of which are publicly chosen, some of which are theatre specialists and within the industry itself. This is the one that people are really gunning for. I mean, the other awards are absolutely lovely, but if you've got an Olivier Award to your name, do you know what? The world is your oyster. The theatrical world.
The theatrical world is your oyster. Now, the actual ceremony takes place on the 7th of April, which is a Sunday, 2019. OBS, which is in about a month's time.
Yeah.
So, in the meantime...
It's been held at the Royal Albert Hall, and it's been presented by Jason Manford, no stranger to the stage himself.
And it's usually televised as well.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they're doing the same thing.
On ITV usually. Hopefully that will be the same this year. Also, you get some top-class performances, don't you, as part of the Olivier Awards?
You do.
Maybe a few of you are going, because you can buy tickets. Let us know down below if you're planning on being there. Sure to be a fantastic night out.
Anyway, so let's talk through the nominations and our predictions.
So, a few ground rules first. We are...
Prosecco, is that a ground rule?
Well, I mean, why not, hey? It's awards season. Let's have a cheeky little drink. No particular order.
Okay, no
Is that
particular
a
order.
rule?
Okay.
So we'll read these out in sort of categories, might flip-flop. We're also not going to judge the Opera Award. We're not going to predict on that.
Don't see no opera, I'm afraid, leggers.
Yeah, or the Dance Awards, just because it's not really our thing. But if it's your thing, great. And it's really great that they're represented. I mean,
comment below which you think should be nominated or should win if you're into those categories.
Yeah, please do. Although we're not going to read out who the nominations are, so you're going to
you'll
have to look that up
do
yourself.
Your research, people.
Do your research. Brilliant. So, first category is Best Actor in a Supporting Role in a Musical.
Okay.
And the nominees are Jonathan Bailey, Company; Clive Carter, Come From Away; Richard Fleischman, Company; and Robert Hands, Come From Away. So it's a 2x2 here. 2 nominees for Company, 2 nominees for Come From Away. Bit of a grudge match. Do you think they're all in the best of spirits, or do you think there's a rivalry?
Gosh, it shows some of the stuff that's been missed out as well in terms of best supporting role in a musical. Only 2 musicals making the cut. We are going to go for... Jonathan Bailey. We're agreed.
I think it's to have that gift of a song, really, and to deliver it so well.
What a gem.
I'm Not Getting Married Today is an absolute highlight of that entire production, and Jonathan has got really lucky with getting it, but that's not to say he doesn't do a fantastic job.
We called it when we saw it.
Yeah.
I think our actual review of that show, we said... Sorry, everybody else, you may as well go home because Jonathan Bailey has secured that best supporting role in a revival. Next up, as we're talking about musical supporting role, let's go to Best Actress. So the nominations are Patti LuPone in Company, Ruthie Ann Miles in The King and I, the Queens from Six, all 6 of the Queens, also Rachel Tucker in Come From Away. Now, let's make our prediction.
I'm looking at the list. It's a tricky one, this one, but
it is quickie. Okay, we're going to go for 6.
Patti LuPone. Really? You think there's 6 Oliviers to be given out here?
No, they'll probably get the one Olivier Award between all of them, but I think they do a fantastic job. Once per week, maybe. Sometimes on the weekends, every other day, divided between 6 of them. But I think they all do a fantastic job. This is really tricky because Rachel Tucker could easily deserve it as well. You say Patti LuPone?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, it's a really difficult one. We didn't see Ruthie Ann Miles in The King and I, although we've seen her perform before. She's obviously got the Tony Award for that role, so I mean that's riding high at the minute, on the back of that. But no, I think it's going to be Patty, because the queen of West End theatre and the queen of Broadway has returned, and it's about time we recognise her triumphant return to London stages.
Controversial, what do you think?
Next up is an award that we are passionate about, because what good are any of these shows if you can't hear them? And that's Best Sound Design. The nominees are Paul Arditi and Christopher Reid for The Inheritance, Mike Beer, cheers Mike Beer, for A Monster Calls, Carolyn Downing for Summer and Smoke, Gareth Owen from Come From Away, and Nick Powell for the Lehman Trilogy.
Okay.
I think, I don't know about you, but we are going to nominate
Gareth Owen, Come From Away.
Oh, I'm going to go Carolyn Downing for Summer and Smoke. I remember that being so atmospheric in its sound design. They even used microphones on mic stands at the front of the stage to emphasise some scenes. There were piano arrangements that were integrated as part of the movement of the set and the characters. And I saw music and sound being used in a way that I hadn't seen before.
It is a real tricky category because even A Monster Calls was great as a production and its sound design was great. However, I remember Come From Away, it's such a small company and it sounded so big and so vast. We were sat quite far away and yet we could hear every single word. And whoever is on that operating system, it's dancing between character and character. You've got harmonies, you've got backing vocals, you've got everything. And I thought it was beautifully crafted. So that's where my money is going. Outstanding achievement in music. Now, this is a bit weird, I've got to say this, because the Oliviers mix up musicals with straight plays, or even plays with music at times. I find that a bit weird. The Tonys don't always do that. Sometimes they separate between plays and musicals. I just wanted to get that off my chest. I can see you're really invested in that conversation.
I am. I'm just thinking about my next
Right, moving on. So, outstanding achievement in music. The nominees are Come From Away, Fun Home, The Inheritance, A Monster Calls, and 6.
We are going to choose, would we agree?
6!
Yeah, I think it's just an outstanding West End debut by Toby Marlowe, Lucy Moss, Tom Curran and Joe Bayton. Songs that I can't imagine ever getting sick of, that have cross-generational appeal, that are current and are poppy and have brought musical theatre to an entirely new audience. That, for me, is an outstanding achievement in music.
Yeah, it's difficult because it's also, is it best musical? I mean, what is it you're asking in terms of music? How it's so difficult to compare that to something like The Inheritance. So, in terms of outstanding achievement in music, the lyrics, the way the songs are structured, 6 is just leagues ahead and definitely bips it for me.
Next up is quite a big one. Best Actor in a Supporting Role. We've got Keir Charles for Quiz, Adam Gillan for Killer Joe, Adrian Lucas for The Price, Malcolm Sinclair for Pressure, and Chris Wally for The Lieutenant of Inishmore. I don't know about you, I know where my money is. For this category, we are going to pick Chris
Adam
Wally.
Gillan,
Really?
Killer Joe.
I say Chris Wally, the Lieutenant of Inishmore.
Oh, really?
He's fresh out of drama school. For me, even though Aidan Turner was great in that cast, he was just leagues ahead of everybody else in regards to stage presence. It was an overwhelming debut, and I think he's going to go on to absolutely great things.
I don't doubt it. He was great. And I don't think, sometimes you say, oh, he's fresh out of stage school, kind of giving him a bigger accolade. But do you know what? They're great actors if they're out of stage school or not. But on that note, Adam Gillan in Killer Joe, he was fantastic. We're seeing him in a number of things now. Playing Mozart in Amadeus at the National Theatre was fantastic. And seeing him in this role again, I thought he was brilliant, playing opposite Orlando Bloom. He held his own. Small part, really, but boy, did he smash it out the park. Next up is Best Actress in a Supporting Role, and the nominations are Susan Brown in Home I'm Darling, Monica Dolan, All About Eve, Cecilia Noble in Nine Night, and Vanessa Redgrave in The Inheritance.
Well, for this category, we are going to go
Vanessa
Monica Dolan.
Redgrave, The Inheritance.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why? I mean,
I
stalwart again. She's been on stage for much longer than either of us have been alive.
It's really interesting as well because Inheritance is huge. It's 2 parts, and she is kind of in the final chapter, I guess, of that. But she, I thought she was great. I was really drawn into what she was saying. She held her own. She was pure acting class for me, and that's why she gets my recognition.
I think Monica Dolan, for me, gets it because she was on stage with Lily James and Gillian Anderson, and she's a relative unknown compared to those massive A-listers. She plays a sort of narration part in that play, and I thought that her performance was completely compelling, captivating, and very honest. I just warmed to her immediately. She won me over within seconds of that curtain going up, and I think she needs recognising. Best Theatre Choreographer, we have the nominees: Kelly Devine for Come From Away, Christopher Galetti, based on original choreography by Jerome Robbins, because he's very precious about his choreography, for The King and I, Carrie-Anne Ingruli for Six, and Liam Steele for Company.
We are going to predict Liam
Carrie-Anne
Steele
Ingruli for
Company.
Six. Oh.
Okay, why did you say 6?
I just think it interweaves dance into action like I've not seen in a long time, because it's part pop concert and it has the feel of the sort of Little Mix choreography that everyone could join into. I think it's really accessible. I think an audience loves that, and again, refreshing.
I can see where you're coming from, and I think it's going to be very close. It's definitely going to be either Company or 6 for me. But I went for Company because I think some of the ideas that have come out of the creativity between the director and the choreographer are great. The opening to Act 2 is great. You've got some lovely moments on the train, another 100 people coming off the train. You've got these lovely kind of contemporary moments going on in the carriages. Some really nice creative stuff. But it's going to be tight. Best Entertainment and Family. This is a bit of a strange category, I think. More family-friendly theatre?
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, that's definitely true of most of them in this category. But the nominees are...
A Monster Calls,
Yep.
Snow White, Songs for Nobodies, The Wider Earth. We are going to predict... A Monster Calls.
I'm glad that we
Unanimous.
agree on that
Yeah.
one. For me, it's because it is a play based on a sort of young adult's book, but it deals with such adult themes that I think aren't explored in a lot of theatre I see. You know, adult theatre, never mind family theatre. It's a bit of a strange one. It stands apart, but for all the right reasons.
Yeah, it's interesting because in terms of family theatre, it's quite a moving piece. It's
Deep,
deals
man,
with,
it's deep.
With deep issues in terms of dealing with cancer, a young boy kind of reconciling
Death, grief.
loss of his mother.
Yeah,
So
alongside all
it's
the teenage
deep.
angst.
So it's not necessarily a family show that you take your 5-year-old to.
Well, it's not
but
with
it's
Snow
very
White.
visual. It's
Yeah.
you know, it's the way it is told was great.
It's a devised piece as well, unlike the others. So the cast have had such an input on that, and it pays off so well. Best set design is following up, and we have some familiar names in this category. Bunny Christie, Company, Bob Crowley, The Inheritance, Ez Devlin for the Lehman Trilogy, and Anne Fleshley for Home I'm Darling.
We are going to predict Bunny Christie Company. Yes, is it Dame Bunny Christie? Is it Bunny Crispy OBE
Dame
or
Bunny
MBE?
Christie, I
or
believe.
what? She's something.
Yeah, no, I have said it before. I didn't see anything particularly new in Company, but I did see it used in a better way. I just think she can do no wrong right now, and I think it's a time that she added another award to her shelf. It must be sagging under that weight.
Yeah, just some really creative ideas, using of perspective, boxes, people coming up from here, there, and everywhere. Just some really nice ideas. Like say, we have kind of seen some of those ideas before, but she continues to deliver time after time.
Consistency, Bunny. Well done, babes.
Let's move on to costume.
Oh.
So, best costume design, we have Fly Davis, Caroline or Change, Anna Fleishley, Home I'm Darling, Gabriella Slade, Six, and Catherine Zuber, The King and I. Okay, this is a tricky one. Okay, we are going to predict Fly
Gabriella
Davis,
Slade for
Caroline or
6.
Change.
Really? What about Caroline or Change did you enjoy? Is it this sort of animated, people like
Yeah, the
automated
main
things
thing
coming
that's
to
sticking
life?
out for me are the opening number when she's down in the basement and we've got the three girls being
Like the
one of
washing
them would be washing
machine.
machines. We've also
Yeah.
got was it an oven? I'm trying to think what the guy was, but just some really creative ideas in terms of costume. That's what I thought. Yeah, okay.
Interesting. I've gone for Gabriella Slade because there's no prerequisite there. It's a fresh, like again, a fresh idea. She's had to come up with it from the ground upwards. Caroline or Change is a revival. Home I'm Darling has a very specific theme assigned to it in ways of writing. And The King and I mean, you expect The King and I to be big dresses and Chinese costumes, but Gabriella Slade, You've invented something brand new there, and I love those costumes from 6. In fact, I'm envious of those queens a lot of the time.
I can see where you're coming from with that.
Next up, something that we would be lost without in a darkened theatre, wouldn't we? And that's Best Lighting Design. Nominees are Neil Austin, Company, Howell Binkley, Come From Away, John Clark, The Inheritance, and Lee Curran, Summer and Smoke.
I haven't got a clue.
You're struggling
These are all
here,
really
are you?
good.
Well, you've got to make a choice now because we are predicting
Lee
John
Curran,
Clark.
Summer and
Oh,
Smoke.
really? Okay, why is that?
Well, it's a really difficult one to pick. I just seem to remember it being quite dark and atmospheric, but they had pianos all around the stage and they had lights within the pianos that came up. So just really magical, creative ideas. When we saw it at the Almeida, I remember just thinking, wow, how did you come up with that?
I've gone for The Inheritance because it's an epic, and you have to sort of you have to light from the inside of a theatre in a club scene right through to outside of on a summer's day out next to a pool, and there's so much scope and it covers so much ground that you have to think on your feet, and I think that's what John Clark has done here. How do you bring those things to life? Because it's a bare set as well. The lighting was fantastic. I predict him.
But it's really hard because, like I say, Company has got some fantastic lighting, as has Come From Away.
And that's a small cast. You need good light.
Yeah. Next up, a big category. We are looking at the best actor, people. But this is just place.
Yes.
Because we get best actor in a musical
In a different
this
category.
Okay, so best actor. First up, we've got 3 people filling one slot, and that is the cast of the Lehman trilogy: Adam Godley, Ben Miles, and Simon Russell Beale. Then we've got Arenze Kene in Misty, Ian McKellen in King Lear, Kyle Soller, The Inheritance, and David Suchet, The Price. Oh, we are going to pick Kyle Soller, The Inheritance.
Said it at the time, guys. I've said it immediately. We saw The Inheritance at the Young Vic. He absolutely jumps off that stage and into the hearts of every single audience member. I was enthralled with his every movement, his every action and reaction. He is a sensation. Those of you that have seen him in The Inheritance know exactly what I'm talking about. I would happily see him act out the phone book.
Now, I agree with everything. However, I'm going to throw in a little caveat. I also really enjoyed, I know I just didn't predict him, but Arenze Kene in Misty, I thought was absolutely mesmerising. I am so glad that he has made this short list. I'd be very interested to know what happens in this category because you've got some really, really, really strong contenders. I think we're only literally going to have to find out on the night because I can't tell who is
either way here.
Yeah, I don't know who the front runner would be.
Here's to the ladies now. Not necessarily the ladies who lunch, because that might show up later. But for Best Actress, these are play nominations. We have Gillian Anderson, All About Eve. Eileen Atkins for The Height of the Storm. Patsy Ferran, Summer and Smoke. Sophie Okonedo, Anthony and Cleopatra. And Catherine Parkinson, Home I'm Darling.
We are going to predict
Patsy Ferran.
Sunma and Smoke. We're agreed.
I cannot wait till the next time she hits the stage, which is in Three Sisters at the Almeida. I wasn't really aware of her before we saw Summer
Who
and
was
Smoke.
she? Who was
And
this name?
I am raving about her to anyone that will listen. People have asked me what should I see at the moment, and I've said for Patsy Ferran's performance alone, you should have caught Summer and Smoke.
Now it's difficult again because she's in such a difficult category. There's some great performances in there. Sophie Okonedo was brilliant in her role in Antony and Cleopatra.
And it's hard in a Shakespeare to put your own spin on it sometimes because there's so much before you. You know, and yes, you're right, she absolutely
So
did.
again, this is a tight one. I don't know which way it's going to go.
Well, you've picked Patsy now, you better be sure.
Come on, Patsy! Moving from Best Actress now into musicals for Best Actor, the nominations are Mark Antolin in Little Shop of Horrors, Cobna Holbrook Smith in Tina the Musical, Zubin Vala for Fun Home, and Ken Watanabe for The King and I.
We are going to predict. I wonder if we'll agree.
Ken Watanabe.
Vala. Really?
The King and I.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it's old school, but boy, is that a meaty role. Like, he has got so much to do, so much of a journey. He doesn't get to sing that much. There's more of the musical kind of speak song that he does, but there's so much going on there in terms of a journey. I reckon he'll be recognised.
I've gone for Zubin. Bruce Bechtel is probably one of the most heartbreaking musical theatre characters for me. He has such anguish and such... You have to really sympathise with him against all the odds, really. And I thought Zubin Vala won the audience's sympathy. And in the role of Bruce, it's not an easy thing to do. So here really is to the ladies who lunch. I'll drink to that because we have Best Actress in a Musical. The nominees are... Sharon D. Clarke, Caroline or Change, Rosalie Craig, Company, Kelly O'Hara, The King and I, and Adrienne Warren for Tina, the Tina Turner Musical. I know where my money's going, but let's see if I agree with you.
We are going to predict Sharon
Rosalie
D. Clarke.
Really? I'd have gone
Caroline or
Rosalie. Okay, why Sharon?
Well, the musical missed the mark with me. However, the best thing about this production was just seeing Sharon D. Clarke on stage. Vocally,
And hearing her.
She is astounding. Yeah, I just don't know where it comes from. It's so effortless. So in terms of a musical, and some really nice scenes that she played out with some of the other characters as well. So that's where I think Sharon gets it.
I mean, taking a role that is historically a man's role and turning it into your own as a woman, where you have to think totally outside of the box in so many creative ways. And the relationship between a director and an actress is a two-way street. And I think that Rosalie Craig has absolutely made Bobby the only Bobby that I want to see ever again.
Yeah,
so
I
it's
agree.
about time that she got it.
Rosalie didn't necessarily. She was great, but I don't think she was great. But she was good. Now, can I say here that I'm almost surprised that we haven't got Carrie Hope Fletcher here, because I really, really enjoyed her performance in Heathers. I thought she led the show. A great company, a great ensemble, a great cast, but she stood out a mile for me and really led that company.
If you're going to go there, where is Jamie Moscato in Best Actor? Because
where is he?
I don't think I've ever
Again.
seen or heard a better JD, and we've seen and heard 3 of them.
In fact, Heathers. Where is Heathers in any of these nominations?
We'll get on to that.
Next up is Best Director, and again, we've got a mix of musicals and plays in this one category, so it's going to be difficult to compare them. However, the nominations are Christopher Ashley, Come From Away, Stephen Daldry, The Inheritance, Marion Elliott, Company, Rebecca Frecknell, Summer and Smoke, and Sam Mendes, The Lehman Trilogy.
There's some big names in this category. There's some
Big
absolutely
directors.
big ballers, aren't there?
Okay, so we are going to go Marianne
Daldry.
Elliott Company.
Really?
I think it's revolutionary. You talked about Rosalie Craig being fantastic, but the idea has to come from somewhere, and having a female Bobby and then making that work and then put it on stage in such a creative way. It's a real masterpiece. So she gets it for just pure creativity for me.
It's a fantastic
It's difficult
production.
being musicals and plays shouldn't be in the same category.
I agree.
I'm angered that I'm having to make this choice and compare plays and musicals in such a directorial way.
I would rather not. And I think, like, taking an old piece, which is always done a certain way, and turning it on its head in the way Marianne Elliott did with Company is absolutely admirable. However, 7 hours of The Inheritance with a limited cast. It's not a massive ensemble piece about a very specific topic relevant to a very specific group of people. Stephen Daldry took that challenge and won, as far as I'm concerned.
It's going to be difficult, because if I was voting on Best Director for a play, I'd give it to Stephen Daldry. If it was Best Director musical, it'd be Marianne Elliott. I'm just saying, people.
I'd be asking, where's Stephen's nomination for The Jungle, really?
Yeah, yes, The Jungle. Where is The Jungle?
Best New Comedy. What's had you rolling in the aisles this theatre season? Well, for the panel of Olivier judges, it's been Home, I'm Darling, Nine Night, and Quiz. Just 3. Quite a limited choice, really.
Oh, gosh, and this is difficult because they're all kind of heavy as well in their own way. Not all out there like, I don't know,
they're not a Jeeves and Worcester or a bank robbery, are they? Or a play that goes wrong.
That's the one I was looking for. It's none of that.
No,
okay.
But we're going to have to make a choice.
We predict
Quiz.
Nine Night.
Okay, well, Nine Night is about a funeral in sort of a Caribbean
culture, and I think
culture,
it's
right?
a real
West
good
Indies
balance, a
culture.
real insight into culture, a real surprise. So for me, I think this will get it. I think the Olivier Award panel will be open to this, and I second that.
Wasn't my favourite James Graham play, although I absolutely adore James Graham, but telling it in the way that it was told, giving the audience participation, I think it was a great day out. You know, it's a great afternoon's entertainment, and for that I'm going to nominate Quiz.
See, Quiz doesn't get it for me.
I liked it more than the others.
No, a good play it was. Comedy, this is in the comedy category. It was no comedy, it was a thinker. Just saying. Best revival of a play. The nominations are King Lear, The Lieutenant of Inishmore, The Price, and Summer and Smoke. Oh, this is a tricky one. Okay, there's
some very different pieces there. Can we just take a moment? King Lear compared to The Lieutenant of Inishmore.
A bit of a
that's
black comedy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, whoa.
What else is in The Price? Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
David Suchet was fantastic. But
Hard.
hey, Summer and Smoke, that's heavy. A real mixed bag. Okay, so we are going to predict The Lieutenant of Inishmore.
Finally, we agree. Yeah, I just thought it was a great comedy. Compared to those ones, I think it's the one I was most sold by, to be honest.
Well, it's difficult because we're picking out of a category. At the time, I thought it was good. If anything, Lieutenant of Inishmore should have been in comedy, because that was a rip-roaring comedy.
But it's not a new comedy, and there's not a revival comedy.
Oh man, these
Tighten that up,
categories.
haven't they?
Okay, so it's tricky, but the Lieutenant of Inishmore was very funny. That black humour, black comedy. I get it. I think it can win.
Best musical revival. What's been dusted off and put back on stage? What's been sort of taken out of the crypt and
what's up in the
wheeled
attic?
out? Yeah,
Let's
we
bring
got
it
up
down.
There? Well, apparently the best ones
Dust it
we
off.
have are Caroline or Change, Company, and The King and I.
Okay.
That's probably, oh gosh, you know what?
There's only 3.
I know, there is only 3. And there's, again, a lot of difference. There's your family favourites, your ones that are popular with your nan, ones that probably aren't so popular with your nan. There's a bit for everyone, but not necessarily your nan, right?
We are going to predict Company. Definitely Company.
If it's going to walk away with one of them, I think it's going to walk away with this.
Yeah, The King and I is okay. You know,
What
but
can you
know
do
what you're
with
gonna
it?
You can't do much with it.
You're stuck with Jerome Robbins' choreography.
Caroline Change relies on Sharon D. Clark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Company is just win, win, win.
It's the company of
Win,
company
win.
that make Company the winner for me.
We're nearly at the end. This is the penultimate one, and this category is Best New Play. The nominations are The Inheritance, The Lehman Trilogy, Misty, and Sweat.
Woo.
Woo!
Sweating over this category,
Sweaty.
aren't we?
Okay. Oh, I don't know which one to pick. Okay.
Make a decision.
I made it.
We're going to go for...
The Inheritance. Yeah, it was great. 7 hours of just fun, but also with the humor comes the very serious message, the drama, the fantastic monologue, speeches, dialogues, interplay, group scenes, intelligently written, the lot. It was worth the transfer.
Stunning debut by Matthew Lopez. I would sit through it again, even though it's long. But it's nice to see the other ones nominated, especially Arenzi Kenny for Misty.
Again,
a
it's
massive
great.
gamble taken with that piece, but it works so well, and he was phenomenal in it. Writer and star. I mean, the man's talent holds no bounds. But yeah, I just think The Inheritance pips to the post.
It's here.
It's here. The one you've been waiting for, theatre fans. Best New Musical. I think for this one, we'll take a nominee each, because there are 4.
Okay.
So we've got here, let's start with you.
Come From Away.
Fun Home.
6.
And Tina. The Tina musical.
The Tina
There's too many
musical.
Tinas for this. It's too many T's.
Is it Tina, the Tina Turner musical?
Stuck in my teeth, that one
Okay.
did.
Now again, where is Heathers? Heathers was
Yeah.
a musical vibe.
Yeah, it should have been in Best New Musical if it was going to be anywhere. Shocking that it's not there, but I mean, they made their mark, and it's coming back apparently.
And
so,
a UK tour.
And a UK tour, so it's doing just fine without this.
Okay.
It's just a shame it's not been recognised.
We are going to predict.
Come
6.
From Away. What? I said it at the time. I said Come From Away, Best New Musical at the 2019 Olivier Awards as soon as we left the theatre, and I am not being swayed. Think 6 is fantastic, think it's broken the mould of musical theatre, but the emotion and the heart of Come From Away mean that it's going to be difficult to top, and that will stay with me for a long time.
Come From Away is fantastic. It is really good, really inspiring musical. However, 6 was that 6 times? I'm not sure. I wasn't counting. It was fantastic. Literally blew me away. I'd go back and see that again. Simple staging. They're working with the small set. I'm so glad it has come back and it is eligible for the awards. It's something I said at the time. I wanted it to come back and I wanted it to be eligible because I wanted it to be recognised. It has been through its nominations. Now, come on, let's make it solid. Let's recognise this brilliant British talent, British cast, this British musical. That's all I've got to say.
Are you quite finished?
I'm quite finished.
You're quite passionate about that, aren't
6.
you?
I am. I'm just glad that it's back. That's everything.
Yeah, that's the whole lot, guys. But do you know what? That's just what we think.
What did you think?
Have you been keeping up with our nominations individually? Because, I mean, this is a bit of a grudge match. You won it last year, I'm pretty sure.
I think I did.
You pipped me to the post with regards to picking the winners. So I think I'm going to get it this year. I'd like to. I mean, nice try, Nathan. But
no, it's going to be me. It's going to be me as usual. But what do you think? What are your predictions? Anything you agree with? Anything you disagree with? Anything that should have been nominated that didn't make the cut?
Yeah, vent your anger, guys. There's a lot of discussion to be had here, and we love to hear from you. If you like what we do and you want to see more of this sort of thing, subscribe, like the video. It's just good to know you're there, guys. Otherwise, we're talking to an empty room. We're the Break-a-Leggers.
And we'll catch you again soon. Bye!